Maseches Bava Metzia. Maseches Bava Metzia. We are about to finish and may hopefully finish today. Perek Shlishi Hamafkid, most probably, although I'm not sure. Mem Gimel Amud Beis. We're daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis. We are in the two dots. The line starts with the word Hoitzah Shma Mino, and then we have two dots and the word Rabbi Akiva. That's where we are. The Shirs Lo Nishma Sovimer Menachem Ben Akiva. Us Bas Shalom Sobas Moshe. Chana Reisha Bas L'Chon Anitzchok. Penny Reisha Bas L'Chon Anitzchok. I'll get it right one day. Dov ben Israel, and we are learning the Refuas Moshe ben Nechama Aviva Bas Dvayroch Chana Bat Sima Nina Chai Bas Gol Rochel Tomer Bas Nomi Bel Zisol Besoch Herzl ben Denis Betoch Shachol Israel Rabbi Kiva Omer Kishas Tvia. We're quoting now the Mishnah saying Rabbi Kiva Omer Kishas Tvia. What does that mean? Let's summarize what we saw yesterday regarding a person who's shole'ach yad. Today we'll have much more Emetz Hashem clarity about what shlichus yad exactly means, even more clear Be'ezras Hashem. And the shlichus yad, when a person, let's say, picked up a shomer, picked up a barrel, right, at some point, and he was worth either one zuz or four zuzim, right? And then when he actually broke it later, it either went down in price. If instead of four, it's worth one, or the other way, instead of one, it's now worth four. Now, Beis Shamai say, and you should realize, according to the Maskona, Tosfos points out, both Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel agree that you always have to pay, the shomer has to pay the more expensive price, not because it's a knas, we're not being vindictive, even the nice and friendly Beis Hillel, even they say that, right? The Machlokes Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel is about a different point. Why is it, again, why is it that we say always pays the expensive? I'll tell you why, and you know why. When the Ganav stole it and he was worth four, expensive, four. Imagine yourself $4,000 for the small barrel of boutique wine. It's worth four, right? At that happy moment, unhappy moment, is Chayev Gneva. We pasken, Shlichus Yad, Ein Atzricha Chisaron. I'm spoon feeding you. I'm giving you the end of the story. A social Chanorch this morning. You Chayev and Shlichus Yad by picking up in. You chayev, if you have the wrong thought in mind and you did the kinyan hagba for shlichus yad, you chayev and it's worth four. At that unhappy moment, that's when you're framed. That's when we take the photo, you chayev four. Later, it went down in price. It's like me going to IKEA. Yeah, I bought it one day before the sales, and I'll say, but now it's cheaper. Thank you, but you bought it yesterday. Who cares? Yeah, the kinyan gneva was expensive. Later, it went down to be one zuz. Too late. That reduction of the price happened when it's already by the Ganav and his Chaim, so he has to pay four. Although by the time of breaking, it was worth one. We don't care about the fact that when he broke it or drank the whole thing, it was worth one. His Chaim when it's four. However, what happens the other way? Oh, that's a chiddush of Rabbah. And we say Lamaskona Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel agree. I'm summarizing you, by the way, something the Tosfos says here, and that is as follows: if it was worth one, okay, when he stole it. Areini goinev, yeah, l'shem yichud. He's goinev mamish now b'shlichus yad when it's worth how much? One. Now, and while it's in his cellar, before he actually got to damage the whole thing, yeah, all of a sudden the wine price went up. Science fiction. Now it's worth four, and now he drank it all up when it's worth four. He has to pay four. Why? Why do we say that we don't sort of freeze frame it at the time of Gneva? Because here we say, let's be practical, mister. Lamaisa, this barrel of wine, had you actually returned it to me and not drink it, because you have two choices. There's no middle road, right? If you came back to my hand, said the owner, how much would I get now for? So Lamaisa, when you broke it or drank it or, I don't know, spill it down the drain, you now took from me potential for, right? And therefore, we don't go by the time of the Hagbah. Here we go by the time of the actual Gneva, says the Ritva, and it's actually a Gemara. Maybe the Ritva speaks out the Gemara. That's when you really stole it. That's a point of no return. Had you kept your mouth shut, I'm sorry, or not break it, then what? Hadn't you damaged it, I would have gotten four. Yeah, now I didn't get it. Sorry. So now you really stole it from me. You made it irrevocable. Therefore, now you have to pay the expensive price. Both Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel agree to that, says Tosfos. What's the argument? Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel, a completely different nakuda. We're talking not about expensive or cheap, as the Gemara's Medaik. We speak here about Exela. We're going one step backwards to Bava Kama. Yeah, and we say that if the sheep was shorn or sheared. The American won the game. Both are right. You can either, in the past, you either shorn or you sheared. Yeah, both are right. Both are right. Both are right. Let's be friendly for Hanukkah, okay? And agree to agree and love everybody. If he shorn or sheared it or shmamorned it, whatever it did, there was goizes it, whatever you want to call it, then what do we say? Do we say that the wool belongs to the Ganev or doesn't belong to the Ganev? That's Machloket B'Sham Beis Hillel. The Shammai say knas, knas, knas. You always get the less. You Ganev. You always get the less. You don't get the babies or the wool. And Beis Hillel say you do. Ad kan hakofa aleph. That was B'Shamai Beis Hillel. Rabbi Akiva is a third opinion. Rabbi Akiva says something very interesting, and he says we don't care about either time, not when it was expensive or cheap or whatever. We care about the time in which the person was taken to court. When the person was taken to court and the court decided you've got to pay, mister, that then let's say the barrel was worth 1, then it's worth 4 afterwards, but it was taken when he broke it, yeah. But when it was taken to court and the Dayanim, banged the gavel and they said you have to pay him, at that we have to go and ask around how much is the barrel, and if then the barrel is worth 2, let's say, not 1 and not 4, then he has to pay 2. Why is a good question, and we're going to discover, Metzia Hashem, why does Rabbi Akiva follow the time of the trial, the time of the verdict, to be more precise? Why is that? Let's see. Rabbi Akiva Makishas Tvia, Omer Yehuda, Omer Shmuel. Halacha Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yehuda says on behalf of Shmuel for 2 things. First of all, halacha Rabbi Akiva. Halacha is neither Beis Shamai nor Beis Hillel. Yeah. Excuse me. I fell into the trap. Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel now, by the way, are united against Rabbi Akiva, right? They only argued about the sheep that's being shorn, but they both agree that you pay the expensive price, the higher price, right? Rabbi Akiva says no. He argues on both. Rabbi Akiva says no. You always have to pay like the time when the verdict took place. That's when you have to go and find out how much it's worth. Says Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva won everyone. Wow. He got the trophy against Beis Shamai and against Beis Hillel. Continues Shmuel to talk. Rabbi Shmuel. Before we continue, I'll just translate and explain some background. Says Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva admits to Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel that if the person was charged and was tried and sentenced based on Eidim, there were 2 Eidim who saw him breaking or drinking the chavis, then he admits to Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel that you have to pay like the time of the theft. Why? What's going on here? Explains the Gemara, and then I'll give you the background. My time, what's the reason for this whole story of Rabbi Akiva? Eidim, not Eidim, what's flying here? Everything will be clear, as crystal clear, I promise you. My time, now we're starting to understand Rabbi Akiva. There's a pasuk in Leviticus 5. There's a pasuk that says as follows: he has to give it to him at the day when he's found guilty. That's translating to today's English. He has to give it to him on the day that he's found guilty. What on earth is going on here? For those of you who remember Bava Kama, which I believe is all of you, do you remember what happens? This pasuk talks about a person, one of the 6 people that has to bring a korban osham. When does a person have to give a korban osham? I don't know, it's called, it's called korban osham, you have to bring a ram and the bayanim shechti. So the korban osham is brought by a person who lied and said, I didn't steal, I ain't steal nothing, or I don't owe you your salary, I don't owe you money, or I didn't find your Aveda, and he swore l'shekel, made a shvot shekel, then he admitted, with or without tears, doesn't make a difference, he admitted that he lied shvot shekel. At that happy moment of admitting, then he has to bring what? Obviously pay back, and he has to also bring an osham offering, and also chomish, a 5th, which is really 4th. That's what the pasuk says. Okay. Now the pasuk says, "Yitnenu b'yoyim ashmosei." Says Rabbi Akiva. Now we're starting from scratch, back to square one with the sugya. Rabbi Akiva says, "It's all very nice what you guys are saying, Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel, but I have the Torah. The way I learned from my Rebbeim, the psukim, the way I daush in the psukim, I derive from the psukim. It says, "Yitnenu b'yom ashmosei." Cut this part of the Torah and paste it to halacha. Give him. Meaning you owe the money the day that Ashmosoi, the same day that you were found guilty halachically, and the gavel was down, and you found guilty and you sentenced, that is the day which Yitne Nu Loi, give him, however much it's worth, at the day of the verdict. That's what Rabbi Kiva is learning. Okay, that's the basics. Now, what did we say about Eidim, Rabbi? What's Eidim Shmeidim all of a sudden? Oh, what did this pasuk speak about, rabbis? I just told you. The pasuk pshat of the pasuk talks about what? Make a movie out of the pasuk. What's the pasuk talking about? The person who admitted. Admitting means obviously without Eidim. Yeah, if Eidim came and then he admitted, maybe it's worth something. There's a discussion. It's not the story. Yeah, we're talking. The pasuk itself spoke about a person who admitted. Yeah, and we base the verdict on his own hoidah of money, that he owes money. We don't say Ein Adam Mesmes Marasha only by Ben Adam Lamokom, but by money we say he owes the money because he admitted. Says the pasuk, pay lefi the day, pay by the day. See how much is the market of the wines today, and by that you pay. Come now, Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel says, wait a second. Excuse me. So the pasuk only talks about a person who admitted himself. But let's say the person was brought to Beis Din, and before he opened his mouth, and he kept saying, no, Mapitom, I didn't do, no, it was not my fault, I didn't do Shlichus Yad, I'm a tzaddik of the world. And then two big, scary, kosher Eidim came. They didn't admit it. The Eidim, he had to face Eidim, and they forced him to pay. In that case, we say, yeah, I'm continuing now to read, the Kavan, the Ika Eidim, since Eidim, which day is the Beis Din, let's say? Thursday. Thursday, nice day. The Eidim come, and they come, what a surprise. Courtroom drama. The two Eidim step into the room before he manages to, admit or not admit, or to escape or to run through the window. And what happens? They say, we saw him last Monday breaking the barrel. We saw him doing the gneva, drinking. Then, says the Gemara, he's not chayav the osham on Thursday. He's chayav the osham from Monday. In other words, when Eidim come to Beis Din on Thursday, but they tell you the story that on Monday he drank it, we saw him drinking it. He didn't know. We saw him drinking it from the corner of the wine cellar. He didn't know that we were there, hiding behind the cellar, behind the chovis. So then what? Lemaisa, it's true, Rabbi Akiva. We're not arguing with Rabbi Akiva. We are qualifying Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva only said that Thursday is the day you've got to pay if you admitted. But if on Thursday Eidim come and they, not physically, theoretically show you the movie, they tell you about Monday, then Monday was the time you really became chayiv. Only now it came to our knowledge. Only now we're informed. And therefore, even here Rabbi Akiva would admit to Beis Shamai Beis Hillel that you have to pay it like Monday, like the real time of theft. I want to tell you something deeper. This is not an Iyun Shir, but there's going to be an interesting discussion here. And this is something you all have to know, and I'm sure many of you know it. Eidim in halacha is not just a technical mode of information. Eidim in halacha are like a din. It's like the din itself. For example, let's say there's a man and a woman that got married, and a lot of people saw them. Nobody paid attention to be the Eidim. Yeah, there are no two Eidim designated to see the Ma'aseh Kiddushin. Yeah, there's a lot of people around, the shviger and the camera and the waiters and the and the orchestra, whatever. But there are not. It could be that the Ma'aseh Kiddushin is not a Ma'aseh Kiddushin. Why? Because Eidu, says the Rashba, in Kiddushin is part of the Ma'aseh Kiddushin. Just like to have the chosan and the kala and the ring, you have to have Eidim. And we see many other cases. That's one of them. Eidim is not a technical thing. In other words, when on Thursday the Eidim come and they hereby say that the guy on Monday stole, it's as if the verdict was when the Eidim saw it. Get it? We just happen to know it now. But the re'iyah of the Eidim is what really makes him chayav. And therefore, see, if on Monday it was worth 4, and on Thursday, by the time of din, it's worth 2, no, you'll have to pay 4, even according to Rabbi Akiva. Now, this is what Rabbi Yochanan said. This is Rabbi Yochanan believes. Okay? Adkan Yofi. So when did Rabbi Akiva say you go by the Thursday time, by the Beis Din? When he admitted. When he admitted, that's all on Thursday, right? He's not, admitting is not called, if he says, I admitted, did it on Monday, we don't say we'll go back to Monday, because admitting is not like Eidim. Admitting is a different kind of story. When he admitted it on Thursday, that's called only on Thursday everything happened. Unbelievable. Because it doesn't have the special koch of Eidim. I know that's about Eidim, that may mean something else. We're not going there now. Okay? I know what you think. Amarle, today's telepathy show. Amarle, do you? Okay. Let's continue. Okay. Now, Omar asked Omar Rav Oshe Rav Yehuda. Rav Oshe told Rav Yehuda. Now, Rav Yehuda is the one who quoted Shmuel to be limiting, qualifying Rabbi Kiva, as we just said. There's a conversation here. Rabbi Oshia is now talking to Rabbi Yehuda and says, Rabbi, Ata Omer Ken. That's what you say. You say that Rabbi Kiva limited his own din. But not everyone believes, not everyone thinks like you. Hachi Omar Vasi Omar B'Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan argues on you and your Rabbi Shmuel. And Rabbi Yochanan says, Choluk Rabbi Akiva, Afil B'Mokem Sheyesh Eidim. He says no. Rabbi Akiva argues on Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel, even when there are Eidim. If Eidim come on Thursday to court and they talk about what happened on Monday, he has to pay like Thursday. Yeah, even if Eidim come, we don't follow the time when they saw it. We follow the time when they spoke about it and Beis Din acted upon them, which is Thursday, Baruch Hashem. My time. Why is that? Listen, that's what the pasuk says. At the end of the day, when does he have to give the money, or what kind of value do we look for? When do we evaluate the money, the wine? When is that? At the day of the Ashamai. The one who really make him Hashem, the one who find him guilty and sentence him, are Beis Din, not the Eidim. In other words, you see the very nice machlekes here, very long this. Shmuel believed what? When the Eidim speak in Beis Din, it's as if the vision, the time the Eidim saw it and witnessed it, that's kilo, the real verdict is taken back to Monday. And the other opinion, Rabbi Yochanan says no. Rabbi Yochanan says no. If Lamaisa Beis Din judge and sentence on Thursday, that's when the sentence takes place. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Let's say a person, Chas v'Shalom, gets a terrible, Chas v'Shalom, never happened, a terrible, I don't know, letter in the post, yeah? That somebody died or he owes $10 million to the mafia, I don't know, something, yeah? And he only found out about a letter 3 days later. Yeah, he only went to the post office 3 days later. When did the bedtime start? The letter arrived in the post or when he found out? Good question, yeah? In other words, when the letter was by him or when he opened the letter, yeah? When it was really there or when the information was actually revealed. Not a very good example, but that's the idea. When Eidim saw or when Eidim spoke. That Shmuel says what? Shmuel says you go by when Eidim saw it. And Rabbi Yochanan says no. When the Eidim spoke and Beis Din acted upon them and sentenced, that's Yom Shmosoi, and that's the money should be paid according to that time. So basically, we have a machlotis here between the two schools of thoughts of Amoraim. Bavel is Shmuel, and Eretz Yisrael is Rabbi Yochanan. So it's Bavel versus Eretz Yisrael, right? Comes a new competition now. Omarle, so let's try and find out what's the emes. Omarle Rab Zera, Omarle Rab Zera le Rabbi Abba bar Papa. Told Rab Zera spoke to Rab Abba bar Papa and asked him, Ki azos lehostom, when you go there, meaning they lived in Bavel. Yeah, Rab Zera, part of his life he was in Bavel, part of his life in Eretz Yisrael. Rab Zera is now in Bavel, and he's asking Rab Abba bar Papa, in your next trip to Eretz Yisrael, when you go there to Eretz Yisrael, Akif Asulama Ditzo. I want you to take a special detour, take the long way around and go to a place called Sulama Shel Tzo. Sulama Shel Tzo is either in Tyre today, in Lebanon, Tzo, which halachically is part of Eretz Yisrael, or they say it's Rosh Hanikra, yeah, Rosh Hanikra, you know, Rosh Hanikra, it's a Shaila. The kids go up north to that place where, who lives there? The Ul Legabei, go especially to the house of the Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi was a Talmid of Rabbi Yochanan. Ubai minay, and ask him, Ishmi alei Rabbi Yochanan, halachik Rabbi Kiva, ein halachik Rabbi Kiva. In other words, we in Bavel are in a bit of a conundrum. We don't know what to do. Here we listen to Shmuel, he was a gadol of Bavel, and he says what? He limited the words Rabbi Akiva, right? And he said that Rabbi Akiva only said what he said if the person admitted in Beis Din, right? But if there are Eidim, then no. Then you go back and you evaluate it, you evaluate the wine, like when the Eidim saw him drinking the wine. That's what we say in Bavel. And then we're hearing rumors and we're hearing people saying that Rabbi Yochanan thinks otherwise, right? Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Akiva is always Rabbi Akiva, always Rabbi Akiva. That what? Always, you only have to pay like the time of the sentence of the trial and not like the time of the theft. So first of all, we have two questions. Question number one, is halacha like Rabbi Akiva or not, right? Because we also said at the beginning of the statement, if you remember, V'yidom Shmuel also said the halachas are Rabbi Akiva against Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel. We just want to find out. No, tell us what does Rabbi Yochanan really think, and I want you to hear that from his own Talmud called Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi. Omar Lei, I guess he went to Eretz Yisrael and he went back with big news. Yeah, he sent the WhatsApp from Eretz Yisrael. Omar Lei, Hachi Omar Rabbi Yochanan. This is what the real Rabbi Yochanan says. Halacha Rabbi Akiva le'olam. Bad news for Bavel. Yeah, that's 1-0 for Israel. Yeah, Halacha Rabbi Akiva le'olam. First of all, halacha Rabbi Akiva. That's actually good. That's like Shmuel. I agree with my contemporary Shmuel that really halacha like Rabbi Akiva, but le'olam. Halacha is always like Rabbi Akiva. He's adding one interesting word. Halacha is le'olam, is always like Rabbi Akiva. My le'olam. What does it mean le'olam? That's not good with Babel. Omar Ashi Shalotoimar. Don't say like Shmuel said. Hani mili hecha deleka edim. Don't say like the Bavel Amiroim that Rabbi Akiva only said what he said when there are no edim. And the one speaking in Beis Din on Thursday is when he breaks down in tears in front of everybody and says, I really stole it. Ay, ay, ay. And we're only basing himself on himself because that's what the Pasuk says. And only then he has to pay. Aval heicha de'eka edim loy. But when there are edim who tell us that on Monday we saw him breaking it and then it was worth 4, he should pay 4, it's not true. In other words, we always say halacha like Rabbi Akiva, whether it's by edim or by hoidah. Rabbi Akiva is through and through, and would always say, yeah, he always says that the pasuk means kepshutoi, when he's found guilty. When is he found guilty? In court. Who's the one deciding he'll be guilty? Not the edim. With all the nice lomdis that we say, yeah, the one deciding ashmosa, who says you are guilty lemaisa? Who? Judges. And therefore, he should always pay like the time of judgment and not any other time. And that's what Rabbi Akiva thinks, according to Rabbi Yochanan. Ve'inami, however, there's another explanation to the word le'olam, nothing to do with the argument of Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan, an alternative way to explain the word le'olam, which takes us back to the beginning of the sugya. That's going to be a good chazura now. Ve'inami da'adra leduchta ve'itbera. Remember, Grant, remember Lee? Adra leduchta ve'itbera. What does it mean in Aramaic? He took the barrel back to its place nicely, doing tshuva, whether he drank or didn't drink. Yeah, in other words, he had his picking up, which we say la'alocha is shlichus yad. He placed it back, and then he was struck by lightning before he informed the owner. Is he chayav b'insin or not? No. You paskin like Rabbi Shmuel. Okay, you're a Bishmuel fan. You wear his T-shirt. He left it at home. Why? So we have a Rabbi Shmuel supporter here. Says Rabbi Shmuel, once he put it back in place, that's good enough. And says Rabbi Akiva, what do you have to do? What do you have to do according to Rabbi Akiva? Tell the Bailim, right? According to Rabbi Akiva, you have to tell the Bailim, I have sinned, Father. I really wanted to take. I took your barrel and I took it and I placed it back. And only after you inform him, then it's considered that your shlichus yad term is over. Now, when we say halacha like Rabbi Akiva, always means to say what? Halacha like Rabbi Akiva also regarding Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel, and halacha like Rabbi Akiva against Rabbi Shmuel. Let's read it again. V'inami, another alternative shot. The ahadra leduchta. We're adding here another point of Rabbi Akiva. There are twice Rabbi Akiva is mentioned in this parrot. Please, yeah. In both machlokes, Rabbi Yochanan is the keen supporter of Rabbi Akiva. Even in the case when ahadra leduchta, he put it back in its place, the barrel, after being a naughty boy, the itbera, and then it broke. Yeah, then you still hold Rabbi Akiva that the person would have to pay because he did not inform the owner. Excluding and rejecting the opinion of Rabbi Shmuel, the Omar lo ba'inan das bailim. Yeah, Rabbi Shmuel says you don't have to inform the bailim. None the wiser. In other words, if you took it, put it back. Yeah, let's say you didn't even take anything. Yeah, took it, put it back without saying anything, and that's good enough. And then a robber came against your shole'ach, onus came. Then what? You're potter according to Rabbi Shmuel. Kamash Malan, we come to say over here, Rabbi Yochanan quoted by his Talmud in Solomon Shel Tzor, the ba'in and das bailim. The Kamen would say halacha l'Kiva in both machlokesim, both in the issue of what? Of always having to pay, like when? Like the time of the mishpat, like the time of the court case, b'yom hashmosai, always. That's one pshat here. Or halacha l'Kiva, yeah, against Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel, and also halacha l'Kiva to add another point in his other machlokes against Rabbi Shmuel. He believes Rabbi Akiva is right and not Rabbi Shmuel, and as long as you didn't inform the Bailim, you're still not guilty, but you still call the shole'ach yad, and if onus occurs, you're still chayav. That's what Rabbi Yochanan believes. And Rabbi Yochanan also believes, and Shmuel believes what? That halacha is like Rabbi Akiva. In our machlokes, halacha is like Rabbi Akiva. So if he was worth 1 when he stole it on Sunday, on Tuesday he drank it, it was worth 4. Now on Thursday, court case, that's a quick Beis Din, yeah. On Thursday, they summon, they sit down together, they assemble, and decided he owes him, and let's on Thursday it's worth 2, he has to pay 2. Right? That's what so far we passed him. However, twist in the story, the Rove Omar, halacha kebeis Hillel. Rove says no, halacha is like Beis Hillel and Beis Shamai, by the way. In this case, they don't argue. Halacha like Beis Hillel against Rabbi Akiva. Which means what? What did Beis Hillel say? Beis Hillel really say, as Rabbi said, as Beis Shamai say originally, that if it's 1 or 4, yeah, you always go by the expensive, you always go by the high price. Besides that, also halacha Rabbi Akiva regarding the ganev, that the ganev is going to b'shinui the wool. That's also true. So what's the halacha l'maisa? I'll tell you what's the halacha for a change here. All the Rishonim or all the Rishonim that I saw, they all support Rove unanimously. And they say halacha is like Rove, the paskins halacha like Beis Hillel. You know why? Says the Rach, says the Mukyosef, say a few Rishonim, they say halacha is like Rove because Rove was Basro. What's Basro? He was later. Because Rove chronologically, or Rove even more, Rove was even later. Rove was 2 generations after Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel. Rabbi Yochanan was the first generation more in Eretz Yisrael. Shmuel was first generation more in Bavel. Yeah, and then what? And Rove was 2 generations later. We follow the later opinion, not the first opinion. Why? Although we always say Rishonim, Kemalachim, Nachnu ki bnei Adam, that's true. Comes to halacha, the Achron took into account all different opinions, and then he's giving us the contemporary people. He tells us what to do. Yeah. Who do you ask? Do you ask the Chazon Ish or do you ask Rav Chai, the Shor of Kornfeld? You ask the Rabbanim. They know the Chazon Ish, the Briskerov, the different shittas, and they tell you what they figured out. So you go with the Achronim who are already past the previous stages, and that's how halacha is passed many times, not always, that we follow the later Amoira and not the earlier Amoira, actually, and that's what we say over here. And now there is a little bit of freedom of speech, if you want, but we can continue. Very nice. Rava made 2 previous statements. I even underlined them in Gemara, which is rare. Statement number one of Rava was Shlichus Yad Eina Tzricha Chisoron, and that's the halacha. What Shlichus Yad Eina Tzricha Chisoron? When a person who's a shomer picked up the chavis with a very, very vile and vicious intention of drinking some of it, at that very unhappy moment, he's chayv in oinsim, even without drinking it yet, even 1 sip. That's what Rava said, and that's what Beis Hillel also agree with Lamaskona. Number 2, another statement of Rava, shoyel shaloi midas, a person who borrows without the knowledge or without the knowledge and therefore consent of the owner. And it's not a funny joke. We say, I borrow for what? Yeah, he really borrows, and he has no intention of stealing. He wants to use it even in a way that won't be mechasel. He's not intending of taking away, of subtracting, of taking from the thing. He's taking the barrel, he used it as a letter. Would the Bailim be happy about it? I don't think so. But he's asking, he's using without permission. He's using someone else's thing without permission. Yeah, somebody told me, whatever, people, the youngsters sometimes, they stole a car. They took the parents' car. When the parents were in Chutz La'aretz, the girl took the car and drove in it, and then she put it back in the thing. That's Shel Shalom Midas. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, Shel Shalom Midas, what is that? There's such a case, yeah, in the neighborhood. Never heard such a thing in your life, absolutely. Shel Shalom Midas, and you never did it yourself. Shel Shalom Midas, I'm sure you didn't. Shel Shalom Midas, Machloikis, is he a borrower or a gazlan? He's always chayv be'oinsin, but does he have the status of a gazlan? Says Rova, he's a Gazlan. Say Beis Hillel is also a Gazlan, according to the Maskana of the Shir yesterday. Go online, YouTube, and watch it again. Live, not live. Yeah, very nice. Because, and that's what Beis Hillel say. That, by the way, Ellen prepares us very well for the next Mishnah. The next Mishnah is really North Korea, mind control. The next Mishnah is, the, how do you say, thought police? You say Mishtelt Machshavot. Yeah, that's the next Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, a person who thinks, I'm going to be shole'ach yad b'pikodon, woke up with a lot of Yetzer Hara in him, he's not fighting the Yetzer Hara, he didn't listen to enough Uncle Moshe tapes, and that's the result. Now he wants to be shole'ach yad, and he's not picking up anything. He's not doing anything physical. He just stands there and he thinks in his mind, yeah, you have the thought bubble. I'm going to be shole'ach yad in this nice barrel of wine. Beis Shamai omrim chayev. Beis Shamai say from that unhappy moment, yeah, until what? I don't know when he finishes that term, but Beis Shamai say at that moment, he becomes chayev. And if it's now struck by lightning, he's going to pay for the oinus. Now telepathy, because we're talking about thoughts. Now I'm thinking. I think, therefore I am. I'm thinking, you guys want to ask, how do you know that he wanted to do it? What? He said it. Oh, you saw Rashi and Tosfos. Nice. Say Rashi and Tosfos. He thought and he expressed his thoughts. And he foolishly said it to two Eidim. He trusted them. Fool. Yeah. He spoke to Reuven and Shimon the Eidim, and he said, I'm going to steal some of this wine. The man is not going to make a difference to him. He has nice wine. He's a billionaire. I'm going to take, a nice bottle out of the wine, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what Rashi says, and Tosfos also say. Okay? Now, Tosfos points out, Rashash points out, first of all, Rashash, the Meforish, the Rashash says, Shlomo Shpash, the famous Meforish, he says, you could also portray another case that he admitted. Let's say he admitted in Beis Din. Yeah, the thing was broken at the end, right? The wine was spilled at the end of the story. There is a court case, there is a Beis Din. Let's say he admitted. Then he said, I thought, I really wanted to. So now he has to pay. Now, according to Rashi, that could maybe work, but Rashi doesn't say it. According to Tosfos, you have to mouth it, you have to express and utter it, because Tosfos says the posuk that Beis Shamai derived the halacha from, it says, I'll call dvar. What's dvar? What's davar? Thing. Davar, also davar comes from ledaber. So Tosfos learns there's a k'gzeres hakosuv, when we say thought, we really mean talk. Tosfos brings another example. What happens if the kohen is missing today? Hey, where's the kohen? He's not here today. What happens if you bring your korban to Beis Hamikdash and the kohen, as he's shechting the animal, he thinks, I'm going to throw the blood not today but tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to eat the korban, the b'sar chatas not today but tomorrow. It's called korban pigul, and the whole korban is kaput. The korban is farfallen. It's a disqualified korban, and if you eat from it, you have kores. How do you know that that's what he thought? Says the Gemara in the beginning of Menachos and Zvachim, says he said it. And if you thought, then it's not possible. You can't prove it. And I think also it's not really possible. Elamai, he has to say it. Meaning thought in halacha means thought that was expressed. He said, I'm going to eat it tomorrow. So Bekitzer, that's a Rashi and Tosfos Begadol are learning Beis Shamai. The person thought and expressed his thoughts, but one thing you have to know. According to Beis Shamai, there was no movement whatsoever. No agbo, no mashicha, no nothing. It's not that you have to have a kinyan in order to be a shole'ach yad. Give me 1 second and then I'll listen to both questions. Beis Hillel argue and say, Eino chayev ad sheishlach bo yad. No, Beis Hillel say only chayev once you shole'ach yad. What shole'ach yad mean? L'choyer what? You have to pick up and also drink it or not? That's a shayla. That's a question. That's another question. But Beis Hillel for sure say you have to do something physical such as picking up and also potentially shloch yad to really have a sip, and then you're chayev, and from that point onwards, you're chayev on all the oinsin of the rest of the chovis. Shneimar, as it says, say Beis Hillel, im lo sholach yadoi. Beis Shammai, how can you say what you say? It says sholach yadoi. Lishloch yad means to extend your hand where it doesn't belong, to stick your hand. So, according to Beis Shammai, we don't understand the pasuk. Yes. I'm stopping in the middle of a mission of question 3. Right. Next part of the Mishnah. Oh, this is like Ellen was saying yesterday. Hita esachovis. Listen to this. The person, I can't show this because I want the tea to spill, he tilted the chovis. He did not pick it up. He didn't do meshicha out of the domain. What did he do? He just tilted the chovis, inclined, tilted the chovis, and without, and this is obviously Beis Hillel here talking, without picking, without doing kinyan, he managed to take out some wine and just, pour out some wine without doing a halachic kinyan, then he's not called a shole'ach yad. He's not a shole'ach yad. Ellen asked a good question yesterday. What would be if I want to be shole'ach yad in the tea and I scoop up with a ladle, I scoop up some wine and I drink it? But the wine itself, meaning the rest of the wine in the barrel, remain intact, remain stable. That's a very similar case. Good question. Says the Mishnah, v'nishbara, even if it broke a second later, he only has to pay for the revis that he drank, the revis that he poured, the revis that he spilled, but not for the rest. In other words, in simple French, he's not a shole'ach yad. A shole'ach yad is only, we're obviously deep in Beis Hillel word now, yeah? Shole'ach yad is only did proper kinyan on the whole thing, right? And then you also used it or didn't use it, or past that is machlokes. Only if you did the kinyan. If you did not do the kinyan, you managed to scoop it out to get it out without the rest of the wine being mugba, then you're not a shole'ach yad. So obviously, whatever you stole, of course you have to pay back. That's not a chiddush. But the rest, the 90% that remained, good, that's your answer. He's not a shole'ach yad, he doesn't have to pay for that. And okay, weiter. Igbiha. Oh, let's say did Ashene Hagbe. Did Hagbe today? He was Magbiha, lifted, he picked up the entire chovis, v'notal himeno revis v'nishbara, and then he took her revis out of it and then it broke. Mishalem dmei kula. Here's your answer, right? In other words, if I picked up the entire chovis in order to take only 10% or 5% or 20%, and it took that percentage, then what? And everything broke. I'm chayav Einstein on everything that broke, the whole 100%, and that, in fact, is one of the chidushim of shole'ach yad, where we get strong on the Mr. shole'ach yad, and we're not just being vindictive. There's more logic to it, as we'll see today or tomorrow. Okay, that is basically it. By the way, I don't know if you saw, I was like slipping in something here. We said, what did we say at the end? If he picked it up and poured some, then he's chayav on everything. Not so simple, right? There are those who say, like Shulchan Aruch, if you picked it up, the whole thing, in order to steal 10%, and then, boom, hit by lightning, what's the halacha? You're already chayav, without really carrying out your vicious things. But that, we'll talk about it later. What? Exactly. Once you made the kinyan of shlichus yad, with machshava of 10% or 5% or some of it, and then the whole thing broke, you chayav on everything, understanding with halacha. What the Mishnah says is going to be discussed. That last line, believe me, the Gemara deals with everything under the sun. Says the heilige, heilige, heilige Gemara. Oh, wow, we're almost there. Where do you know that from? That is Beis Shamai. The Gemara is asking an innocent question to Beis Shamai. Beis Shamai, we're not really in North Korea. This is not Tachtel Shir. Why is it? Because a person thought or spoke, and as you correctly said, Baruch, I'm using what you said now differently. When a person says I'm going to have chazir, even if the person says I'm going to steal, right? If I say, you have such nice trendy glasses, I'm going to steal your glasses. I'm not chayiv. Yes, stay away from it. I'm not chayiv because I said, Mechetesi Beis Shamai say that just by saying or thinking, I'm going to be shole'ach yad, is already chayiv. Where's the source? The Tana Rabbanon says, the Gemara quoting a pasuk, Al kol dvar pesha. When we speak about shlichus yad in Parshas Mishpatim in Shmois, we say Al kol dvar pesha. What's called dvar pesha? Or any davar, anything of pesha, of crime, of misbehavior. So there are two ways to explain it. Either kol dvar pesha means any form of pesha, even thought and speech, or according to Tosfos, davar, daber, davar. The word davar in Hebrew, which is a thing, has to do with the verb, the noun, davar, has to do with the verb ledaber, to talk. And therefore, called dvar pesha, yeah, Beis Shamai oimrim, look at the words of the Gemara. Beis Shamai derived from those words, melamed shechayav al machshava kemaiseh. Thought here is as bad as a maiseh. However, thought means speech here. Machshava expressed in my mouth, in my verbal part, that is like davar that you spoke in your chayav. That's what Beis Shamai believed. Beis Hillel only. Beis Hillel say, "En chayav shishlach bayad." Beis Hillel are the, what I would say, mainstream opinion. You only chayiv if you actually did something, whatever that may be. So you have to act physically and extend your hand in the wrong place. Shenema. Look, it says in the pasuk, Im lo sholach yod v'melech Yisrael. It said sholach yodoi. The same pasuk that talks to you about dovo also tells you that you have to swear, you have to take shvuah if you want to be exempt as a shomer. If you're not shole'ach yad, the shloch yad is to stick your hand. Omar and Beis Shamai Beis Hillel. Now Beis Shamai are actually the ones inquiring Beis Hillel, asking back on Beis Hillel. Hey, Beis Hillel, al kol dvar pesha. There are extra words in the pasuk that tell you kol dvar pesha. So what do you do with these words? You see, dvar pesha means like us, davar, dibur. What's the entire sentence? What's the extra dvar pesha you chayv on? According to us, Beis Shamai, we know it says what even speaking. But you, Beis Hillel, how do you explain it? Omar and Beis Hillel answer back two things. Beis Shamai, they answer two things. First of all, what do you do with that? According to you, why does the Torah say sholach yodoi? Right? You don't believe that sticking your hand is important. You say thinking and speaking is enough. Im ken continue Beis Hillel. You still have a valid question when you say, what are the extra words dvar pesha coming to tell me? It seem to be requiring more than, or even less. I'm saying, not just physical action. That comes to be merabe, all different things. Say Beis Hillel. Sheyochol, one would argue, ainly elahu. What would be if the person himself is shole'ach? Who's the person? Shomer. If the shomer comes and picks up the chovis, according to Beis Hillel, that's not a nice lechaim here, yeah? That's not cheers. He's picking it up in order to steal his chayiv, right? Okay, that's when he did it himself. Who? The shomer. The shomer himself did it. Yeah. Omar le'avdo v'leshluchoi minayin. Yeah. What happens if he said to his eved or his shliach? What would be if he said it to his slave or his shliach? He told them, you pick it up. Wait a second. No. He's a Jewish man. One minute. Let's read and then say your nice things. What would be the halacha if Mr. Shomer tells the Eved or the Shliach, another person, you pick it up? Yeah. Minayin. How do you know that the Shomer who sent him to do the wrong thing, how do you know that he's chayev? He's chayev to pay, and he's chayev in the oinsin. The shomer who sent the other guy. Talmud loymar al kol dvar pesha. Al kol dvar pesha. That is what the Torah is coming to tell me. Kol dvar pesha. Al kol dvar pesha comes to tell me any form of pshia, not dover to speak. Any form of pshia, even if you did it through a shliach, you yourself are chayev. Now, what does it mean? We have a rule saying, I'm sorry for that. We have a rule in halacha that says, Ein shliach ledvar aveira. Ein shliach ledvar aveira. What does it mean? A person who tells his friend, take truma, take meiser, mekadesh woman, whatever the shliach does, is like the person himself did. Shloch shalom kmoso. If I tell someone, chas v'shalom, steal something, kill someone, Mario something, then what? Then who is chayev? The shliach, not the mesholeach. The hitman, the henchman, the hitman. He is chayev. Divrara divra talmid. Why did you listen to him, to the person, the bad guy, the mafia head? Why did you listen to the mafia head? Why not to Hashem? Over here, what do we see? Interesting. Here we see l'choira against the rule of ben shliach l'dvar avera, right? We say that Mr. Shomer, what did he say? He told another person, you go and you take from the wine, and who is chayev? The meshalech, the head, the brain, as we call it in crime. The brain is chayev and not the arm. Why? That's against the rule. I saw in one of them, Shulchan Aruch, unbelievable. The Sma, Sefer Miras Sanaim says, he's making an ukimta here. And he says, Enechinami, we talk here in the case that the poor shliach had no idea. The shliach had no idea. That he knew that it's wine. He didn't know it belongs to somebody else. He's an innocent guy. It's some nice yeshiva bacher. I'm sorry I have to take this, although it's middle of shir. It's probably something very, very urgent. I'm really happen. The chiddush is that the meshaleach is chayev. Get what I'm saying? That is a chiddush. Although the person is shomer, the shomer had a nice tmimistic yeshiva bacher, just came from America a second ago, has no idea about anything, and the meshalech told him, get that barrel of wine for me. He had no idea. Who? The guy, the shliach. Now, what is the chiddush? Although I didn't do it b'yadayim, the shomer, I didn't do it. I told him to do it. So maybe if it's not physical, I'm not chayiv on the ma'isa. Here we say shluchus shalodem k'moso, but that's a chiddush because it's not the regular case of shlichus. And here the Torah comes and tells me that really the one liable, the one chayiv is who is the person who is the meshalech, the shomer is chayiv. Not only if he picked it up, even if he asked another innocent person to pick it up for him, is the meshalech is always chayiv. That's according to the Sma. There could be other opinions here also, but this is what he says and this is what I saw. Okay? Again, apologies. Really, really sorry. Okay. You see, the Yitzhar disturbs us right before the end. Says the Gaon Vilna, Yitzhar doesn't like to see things that are complete. So before we complete such a beautiful parak, we have disturbances. Tighter. Okay. What did we say at the end here? Towards the end of the Mishnah. What happens if you didn't do a proper kinyan hagba, kinyan meshicha? He very slyly tilted it to take the bit that he wants. I think Ellen's example is actually very, very nice. Well, let's say scooped up some of the wine, scooped out of the thing, and all the rest remained intact. There was no hagba on the whole maisa, on the whole thing. Then he's not a shole'ach yad. Of course, he's chayav to pay for what he stole, but not on the rest. That's what the Mishnah says. Beautiful. However, there are two exceptions to that. Amar Rabba, says Rabba, lo yishonu ela nishbera. What happens if the chovis broke the oines? Is he chayav on that breakage? No. He took out his thing. All the rest that remained here after it drank, he didn't touch it. I mean, he wasn't coining it. It stayed as it was always, maybe tilted a bit. That's not called a gba. So all the rest, hit by lightning, earthquake, someone's baseball bat, a ganav, he's potter. It's not his fault, meaning he's not called shole'ach yad, and the oinsim don't apply to him. Very nice. However, aval hechmitza, let's say it's soured. Let's say pretty soon, I don't know how soon, it's a good question. Let's say pretty soon after the what? The taking out some of the wine from a full barrel, he made the barrel to be a bit empty, not full, and then the wine went sour, then mishalem eskula, then he has to pay the entire thing. He has to pay for the entire thing that soured became vinegar. Farvos, my time, Giri didehu da'anulo. It's his own arrows that caused it. Arrows in halacha always means a semi-direct action, which means a barrel of wine that's full, the wine won't go sour. But when it's a bit empty, I don't know exactly the percentage, but a certain percentage of emptiness or vacuum there makes the wine go sour. So then it's your fault, not as a shole'ach yad. Okay, you're not a shole'ach yad, but you're a posher. Because you stole a little bit, and the result of your theft is what? Maybe not very direct, but you're already a ganav, and therefore it's not called oines, it's called pshia. There is some kind of connection between the souring process and your taking out, because a barrel that's chetzi, empty, is already beginning to sour quicker. For that you'll have to pay. Not as a shole'ach yad, as a pshia. That's what we say now. Egbiya v'notal himeno. Wow, we're coming to the end. What did we say at the very end? And that's where I gave you a hint, it's a bit tricky. We said at the end, Higbiya. What's Beis Hillel now saying? He picked up the ganze barrel, and he took some. Then we say what? Then it broke afterwards. Oines, you're chayev on oinsim, you're shole'ach yad. Zogt Omer Shmuel, loy notal mamish. No. It doesn't mean that he's only chayev if he picked it up and took some and drank some. And that's not what the Mishnah means. The Mishnah means to say, once you picked it up, not in order to inspect it, you picked it up in order to do the vicious thing and take some, even though you didn't take any, you're already chayev. Frag the Gemara, why is Shmuel saying that? Lema kasova Shmuel, is it that Shmuel thinks shlichus yad eina tzricha chisaron? Does Shmuel belong to the party that says, which, by the way, my friends, is a halacha? Shlichus yad does not require chisaron, meaning shlichus yad picking up without taking He's already framing you, already mechavi be'oinsim. Is that what Shmuel coming to say? And by the way, I would stop here, I'd pause here, and say that's the halacha. I saw it again today and again a few days ago. Yeah, halacha is you pick up. Yeah, next time somebody gives you a barrel of wine to watch. Yeah, your tzahar gets the better of you. Yeah, you pick it up with the wrong idea in mind, put it back quickly. Yeah, because at that very moment you already called the shole'ach yad without drinking. The thought plus the real picking up, that's Beis Hillel yuchayim. So why did Shmuel say, yeah? So now, why did Shmuel say, is that what Shmuel, does that what Shmuel mean? Is that what Shmuel's saying? Amri loy, says the Gemara, no. It's true maybe, but that's not Shmuel is saying. Shmuel is not advocating that. Could be the Shmuel believes, listen to this, could be Shmuel is of the party that believes you only have one to pick up and you drank. Only when you did both, you chayev. Could the Shmuel belong to that party? If so, why did Shmuel say that? Yeah, that over here you picked up and you already chayev. Why? Shiny hocho. When it comes to wine, it's different. Listen to unbelievable thing. Denichale, it's good for the person who's a shole'ach yad that tehevi hachovis kula bosis lo revis. This needs explanation. Basically, I'll translate and then explain. When you have, let's say I have in mind, let's divide the wine into, yeah, whatever. Oh, good. Yeah. Let's say I have in mind, I'm not a ganev. I only take that layer. Of course, I know layers in mashke, yeah. But let's say I want to take the top layer, so to speak, of the mashke from here, right? Okay, nagid, let's say. Now, that's what I want, but for that, I want this to be a basis. In other words, in order for this wine, let's say the barrel is full. I want the barrel to be full because in order to drink the bit in the top, I want the entire chavis to be a base for the top part that I want to drink from because I want the entire chavis to be full. Because as we said 2 minutes ago, a chavis that's full is good, a chavis that's empty, that's bad. What's going on? I just translated. What's going on? Explains Rashi as follows. Rashi says as follows. Rashi says like this. When you picked up the chovis, and let's say everybody knows that you want to do it for what? For drinking. Why didn't you drink it at the end? Why didn't you drink it at the end? Or why didn't you, let's say you pick up the phone. I'm giving a good example. A phone is not like wine. There are no layers. It's one or all, yeah? All or nothing. I pick up the phone in order to steal. Hey guys, I want to steal this guy's phone. If he thinks I'm his shomer, no, I'll take it to myself, or I'll take some of it to myself if it's possible, whatever. Then what do we say? I'll take the battery. Yeah, the good battery. Now, what do we say? We say that enachinami, at this happy note, according to Ziman de Omar, not la alocha, shlichusat tzricha chisoron. As long as they didn't take it, as long as they didn't use it, as long as they didn't hit it, drank it, broke it, something, I'm not chayav. Why? Says the Ritva, based on Rashi, says the Ritva, he did tshuva. As long as Lamaisa, the person said, I'm going to do it, and he never really did it, we assume he regretted. He put it back. Yeah, whatever. He regretted it. He didn't do it. Lamaisa didn't do it. In the case of wine, we don't say did tshuva and he regretted it. You know why it is that he picked it up ceremoniously and said, I'm going to drink 10% of the top layer of the wine. You know why he didn't yet do it? Because it's within his interest that he wants to keep the wine, yeah? He wants to keep the wine, the entire barrel of wine intact because he wants to drink it later. He wants to drink it later. You know I didn't drink it now? Because now the wine is conserved very nicely for him in the chavis. The chavis is now full. He'll drink it later. Why didn't he drink it now? Because as long as the wine barrel is full, it's better for him. If I want to be, excuse me for saying disgusting person, exploit other people's money, right now it serves my selfish purpose that his wine barrel is full, because whenever I want to drink it, would maybe tonight with the Hanukkah candles, that 10% will be conserved on the nice basis of the other wine. So it's ke'ilu considered, look at what Rashi says, as if I took it out and put it back. Be'etzim, I did take out the wine. You know I didn't yet take it. I want to conserve it in better conditions. And the best conditions for the wine that I want, which I already stole, is the barrel of wine belongs to him. So be'etzim, I ke'ilu did take it out. So could be really Be'emes Shmuel believes that again, Shmuel really believes that when you picked it up alone, you usually are what? You're not chayv until you really drink some. When you keep the wine, it's either you drank some or took some, but you happen to preserve it in the best place. Where's the best place to preserve it? In the wine. So you really steal this part, and the rest of the 90% you call the shoyel. Unbelievable. You steal the 10%, and the other 90 you borrow from him to store the wine that you stole in his barrel, because that's the best conditions. Unbelievable. I want to read Rashi inside, even in the price. Rashi says, okay, says Rashi, I'm reading Rashi inside, and maybe we'll finish here before, and then tomorrow continue. He wants that to look at Rashi, the biggest Rashi, which is the fourth Rashi from the bottom, and then we'll finish. He wants that revis to be conserved and not go sour. Let's say shlichus was not with wine, was with a phone, something else. Really, you only have if you took some other items. Let's say candies. You took 10 candies out of 100. Usually only you took the 10 candies out of the 100, then you chayav on everything. Normally, if you picked up the whole candy jar in order to be shole'ach yad and take 10 candies, because man shaloch yisroi ain't mischai b'agbosoi. Not like the halacha. You're not chayav by hagba without taking. You didn't want to steal everything, just to be shole'ach yad. To be shole'ach yad without really taking some physical something, you're not chayav. Says the Ritva, maybe you did tshuva. You didn't really do it. You didn't take aval. Listen to the punchline. Yain she'ein mishtama ela bekli mole. Yain only gets preserved, well reserved where? In a full kli. Havele, it's as if, listen to Rashi, kemishenotal, it's as if you took out the wine, venichoy mashal ishtamer, and put it back in the barrel to be kept with the rest of the wine. V'nasa shoyel al kol shar chovis, and the rest of the chovis you borrow from the owner. You don't want it. 90% I'm not taking. I'm only taking 10%. But I want the 90 to be used for my purposes. So I took the whole thing together, picked it up in order to take 10% means what? 10% I really am leering at. Is really nice and I'm interested in 10% to bring. And the 90% I'm using as borrowing it to preserve that 10% because that's how wine works. Mimelem chayv on the other 90 as a shoyel. Because Lamaisa, I want it there. It's not so far-fetched. I want the rest of the wine to be there. He's not a tzaddik, that's for sure, right? He wants the 10%. Why do we require to take it out? Why should it take it out? Why should it take it? It's not stupid. To take it, put in some plastic bottle? No, that won't preserve nicely. He wants to keep it in the best preserved place. But Lamaisa, all vicious plans apply one way or the other to the whole thing, and it's Gilo took it. That's what the Gemara says. You know what? We'll see the last piece tomorrow. Yeah, I don't want to push too much at the end, and then we'll start the gold in Metzia Hashem. Yes. And tomorrow I want to give you a sikkim on the whole shluchah. Thank you. Have a good day. Happy Hanukkah. First stage is machshava. Thank you.